Hey everyone. So you're catching this on the replay because I streamed unlisted. Um, but I'm getting ready for the day, which is also why my camera's off. I'm doing my makeup and such. And I just didn't want to waste time just doing my makeup. I thought I'd do makeup and commentate on a live stream that I watched bits and pieces of last night. So I don't know. I don't feel like waiting because whenever I do that, I come up with all these ideas, things I want to say and everything. But then by the time it comes to put them on video, everything escapes me. So, and excuse my talking right now too. I just ate something incredibly spicy and my mouth is on fire. Oh my God, why do I do this to myself? Oh, damn you, buffalo wing sauce. So good. Now that I'm done explaining why this video will be anything but professional looking, let me get to it. So here is the live stream I'm referring to. It's from Nonsense a Stupid page. Timeline with the Tessas, part 1. And I just want to say right off the bat here. Well, actually, I'm going to let them start talking. Then I'm going to add this in. But first, I want to if I have to mute in between everything, if it's going to echo or whatever, because from what I understand, StreamYard has some updates on. So I want to see what happens here. Now that I got that pulled up, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, and I'm going to play real quick, but then I'm going to pause and go back to and listen to it there.
Hey, y'all.
See, microphone's not off.
Are back. And today we are going to...
Okay, what happens here? Microphone's not off.
And today...
I'm going to have to mute. All right, sounds like shit. All righty. Unless is it just because I came through like that? I'm going to have to mute. All right, sounds like shit. All righty. Wait a minute. Unless is it just because I came through like that? I'm going to have to mute. All right, sounds like shit. All righty. Yeah. Okay. So be it. All right. All right, shut up. Yeah. Okay. Why won't I shut up? Why won't I shut up? I just exited out the wrong screen too. All right, no biggie. My bad. I'll put something in the title like skip ahead to this time or whatever. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna try to remember to mute in between. I don't have headphones in. I don't know where they are. I'm not looking for them right now either. So this always works out well for me, huh? All right, here we go.
Of course, you have Fuck Tessa and Blunt Tessa here in the building. You guys want to say hi?
Hello, y'all.
Hey. I guess technically, even though I'm Fuck Tessa, I'm also Nunya. So, those two can be connected now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We use it.
Now, the point I was about to make before, but I wanted to just play that first. I have to say, if you're going to give all kinds of insightful commentary about the actions of other people online, you should at least have the courage to do so from your actual identity. Hiding behind this shit, hiding behind these cute little names like Fuck Tessa or these avatar images and giving out all of this insightful commentary to the point where you feel that you are entitled to encourage people to try to get others' channels taken down. I mean, if you feel that strongly about this shit, then you should at least do it from an identity. You should at least have the conviction to stand behind what it is you're doing. I mean, you can sit there, you can mock, or you can give Molly all the shit you want. You can give me all the shit I don't even care. But at least she and I, we stand by our words. The shit we say, we stand by it. We can put our names, we can attach our names to the things we're doing here online. I mean, what does it say about you that you just don't feel confident enough to do that? This is not going to escape me throughout this entire commentary. I just wanted to point that out because this will probably be a reoccurring theme on my part.
the voice changer last time, so people didn't realize that Fuck Tessa and Nanya were
Nanya fucking dozens.
That's funny. So we're going to start with May 23rd. As everybody knows, May 23rd, 2022 is the day that, unfortunately, the story begins for Marvon McRae. And May 23rd, 2022, let me be clear so nobody gets that confused. Unfortunately, as everybody is aware, on that date, there was a very tragic incident. Marvon is still, at this point in time, in a coma. Do you guys want to add anything to that piece of it?
Not to that date, no.
Okay. So that's basically it. I mean, we've seen the police reports after, and everybody's got their own opinions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't really care to commentate on that either, so I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit.
That, but and this way brings it to social media because
To her supporters on May 28th is where
did that video afterwards, correct?
correct.
But
and I don't think that the next big date happens until the day of the Katie Farms post,
correct.
which I believe was June 8th.
Yes, it was.
Which essentially I'll talk about that. So she posts that she's trying to get the vegan feed for him. At that point in time, she did post it publicly to try and get as many eyeballs and assistance on how to get that feed for him at that point in time. And because it was posted publicly, people started asking a lot of questions. They were not aware of his condition because it wasn't made public at that time.
Wait, what? Did I hear that correctly? I didn't even know about this. Like I like I said, I watched bits and pieces of this live last night, but I didn't start until like it was almost 2 hours over. Okay, and it's only about two and a half hours long, maybe. I don't know, 2 and something hours long. But so I missed like the whole beginning of this. Are you telling me that this became this became known publicly about his condition because she made a post looking for fucking vegan feed for him as he lay in a coma? I mean, I'm sorry. If my loved one is in a coma and he obviously eating through a feeding tube, I'm not going to give a shit if it's vegan or not. I'm going to care if it's the most healthiest, the best, ideal for him. In which case, I'm not going to turn to fucking internet personalities or whatever vegan people. No offense, on this, but we're talking medically speaking here, not morally speaking. I'm not going to turn to them. I'm going to turn to actual medical professionals. I'm going to follow their advice. This is I can't believe I just heard that. And people, they're going to sit here and don't get me wrong. Dre did not cause this to happen to her husband, in my opinion. Okay. Dre did not bring this about because you know what? I don't care how shitty she may or may not have treated him. People are in shitty relationships all the time and they don't try to end it by ending their lives. Okay. That's just, you got to be yourself internally somewhere else to take that route. So I don't blame Dre for what happened, but this is just crazy.
Time and so I think she posted it in the morning time once she had everything settled. I believe she did a live later on that night just discussing that there was an incident and that he was flown to I believe he was life flighted to Tucson. Now, can we just clear up? I know that there's been a lot of, she got kicked out of the Yuma hospital, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is he flew from Yuma to Tucson because he needed to be in the VA hospital.
Actually, Yuma Hospital wouldn't have the facility to take care of his situation, so they needed to fly him out to a specialist, and there may have been a stop in Phoenix before Tucson because they have a neuro specialty center there, and then sent on to Tucson. Now this is actually in the police reports that
Police report that
Dre would not have.
How would she ever have gotten kicked out? I mean, they weren't Marvon, not to Tucson, and June 8th explained that there was an incident. Now, she didn't go into detail of what caused him to be in a coma at that point in time on social media, but she gave an overview and asked for positive thoughts and prayers for their family.
I think the other thing she basically showed is, in her faith, she showed that she was believing for a miracle and that, she felt she had confirmation from God that there would be a miracle in his healing. So that she started to show that, doctors don't have control over what happens. Jehovah, God does. And so that's when she started to speak those things and wanted people to speak that same type of positive vibe and manifestation.
I'm sorry. They're just like totally trying to rewrite history here. See, the thing is I started following this in July, like right after Katie Joy did. I'll be honest. Katie Joy's the reason why I even know about the story, probably. So, like, and I went back and I watched the footage that Katie was airing, and the footage Molly was talking about, and I went back and watched some of my own footage. Mostly, actually, honestly, most of the media I watched from this came from that exposed page, because they had a lot of it, and it seemed to have already gone through much of it and kind of highlighted or prioritized the ones that would most interest the people, I think. So this is why I watched so much of what I watched, probably. But she had been taught, I mean, I don't know if she gave much in-depth information about his condition in the beginning. I'll be honest. But by July, and the ones that I had seen, like just before when I started watching, so probably 2 weeks worth up to like July 8th or 9th, she did talk about it. She was taking video next to his beds. I mean, again, I don't blame Dre for what happened with her husband. I don't, okay? I blame, like, as messed up as it may sound, I put the blame on Marvin because it was ultimately his choice. But she did everything wrong, I think, in how she wanted to present herself. Like, if she was, it's almost like she was trying to make herself look really bad in the public eye because of how greatly she was doing it. And she did this for a while. She did this right up until, like, I don't know, like mid-July maybe. And that's, since then she's been like radio silent. Sure. But the damage was already done, I think. I don't know. It's crazy.
Because that was part of her belief system.
Yeah. She was basically getting at they don't have the final word ultimately. Which
Right.
that brings, she posted a few, I think on her business page, on her public Facebook page where she does her makeup, her Slay with Joy McRae page, she posted some reels and kind of gave people updates. And then on June 11th, there was another post that happened.
The shitstorm started, let's be honest. That's when everything really blew up. So June 11th, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a Saturday. He gets a call across all of social media for everybody to know of. Shared.
Letitia actually reached out and contacted Wynette and Marvin Sr. That's what we've been told.
Yes. Also, we know both from the call that was played as well as the information that's been shared on live on both Letitia speaking and Dre speaking, that there was a phone call that happened that day. It was a cordial and understanding phone call where there were some questions about how did this happen, which, it's been stated Dre was willing to explain that. However, she was willing to allow him to come and visit at that point in time, which that was around the afternoon, early morning or afternoon time of the 11th. So they were at that point. And then I believe the evening of the 11th, Letitia made a post on her Facebook. And in that post, you start to see some of the family members making some accusations, calling her some names, all these kinds of things.
Dog might bark if she does. I'm going to mute it real quick. I apologize. I need to stop that because I want to commentate a little bit on it, and I don't want to keep it playing just to keep it muted. So just give me a second here. I'm ready to hit mute quickly if need be. But it looks like she's going to be good. Okay. And the people across the street are leaving now, so yay. Okay, here's what I had to say on that. They say that the conversation with Dre was cordial between Letitia and Dre. How do you know that? Like, did Letitia tell you that? I'm thinking maybe not, because if she had, I'm thinking that would be a talking point right now. So how do you know it was cordial? Unless, did you see the conversation? Did you see, or was it a text message? But no, wait, that's right. It was a phone call. So what makes you think it was cordial if no one told you? Unless, did Dre tell you? I mean, it's the only person left, right? To which I say, how do you know Dre's even telling the truth? because I don't think Dre's going to sit there and tell you that, oh, we yelled at each other, we screamed, we fought, whatever. She made all these accusations about me and I fought back. I mean, that's just not going to happen. So, I mean, you got to take this shit with a grain of salt without proof. And that goes for everyone. That goes with anything Letitia tells you, with anything Wynette tells you, with anything Dre tells you, whatever. You have to, without proof, because people lie. Every one of us lies. Some more than others, sure. Some about bigger things, more bigger things than others, sure. Every person in the world does lie at times. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt unless you see proof. That's my opinion. Whatever.
Later on that night, somebody, I don't know if it appeared in the live where it spoke about that those screenshots or that link or whatever was shared with Dre, and there was just a lot of negativity that came from that, of just when the text messages read, the feed read, and the comments were read, it was because there were a lot of accusations. She started to feel like, and I'm just interpreting the video, you can watch for yourself, but she started to feel like there was about to be a lot of drama coming from this, and she didn't want that in the room with him. She was very clear prior to his date that his condition was not, he had tested positive for COVID. He had C. diff, which I do not know much about, but I have heard that it's very contagious. So there were a lot of different conditions that he was dealing with, to where she was the only person visiting him outside of the doctoral staff, doctors, nurses, whoever else, therapists, whatever.
Right.
So nobody was coming in, not just his family, not just, not the kids, not her mom, like nobody was coming in except for her because of the sensitivity. And although she
Well, that just sounds like some bullshit right there. Because I'll tell you, we also, I think most of us seen the video that Dre herself took and uploaded or whatever, or maybe it was live. I can't quite recall, where Marlon's father showed up. Now, the story is that she only called or asked for security to be called because she thought it was Marvan's mother. I don't care who it was or who she thought it was. The fact remains is that she called security right off the bat. And she did so in a manner of which, like, this person shouldn't be here because it's this person, not because no one can see him. No, she didn't sit there and explain to him, listen, I understand and I want you to see him, but it's not good for his health right now or whatever. No, she just wanted security called and then take him right back out. So don't give me that shit. It's bullshit. And also, if she really was worried about infection and corona and all that, and people being around him, then she herself wouldn't be around him because, first of all, she's around a toddler all the time. I mean, like it or not, they're like little petri dishes. I've had 3 of them. I know. So she herself is putting this man at risk. I'm not on camera. You're fine. But now the microphone's hot now. So yeah, she was then putting him at risk every time she went in there. I mean, which sure, that's her right, I guess, because that's, she's the next of kin. She is this man's wife. Sure. But don't then use it as an excuse as to why you should be entitled to keep the rest of his loved ones away from him when you yourself aren't applying it to yourself. That's hypocritical. And if it's true, you put him at risk. Like it or not, you fucking did.
was willing to work with them. She wanted, and again, she had stated on live numerous times prior to this date when she would give her updates, that even when the doctors came in to speak what she felt was, negativity, she would ask them, could we leave the room and have that conversation outside of the room? Because she didn't want that in the room with him.
Right.
So it makes it like, it aligns with when now you see, okay, look at all this drama starting to pop up. It was like, okay, I don't really want the drama in there and going through this. Hey, let's fall back a little bit. Let's let him heal a little bit more, and we'll visit the visitation.
And at the same time, on the 11th, though, too, there was also stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm going to call bullshit to that too because he's in a coma. Okay, he's not expected to recover to heal a little bit. Okay, now if it's the infection thing you're worried about, well, the risk of infection is always going to be there. The longer he's in the hospital, the greater that risk is likely to become. So, again, I call bullshit. And he's not expected to wake up. But if for some chance, some slim fucking miracle of a hope, he did, then wouldn't it stand to reason that giving him more and more reasons to wake up would only help that? You're keeping these reasons from him. You're not reminding him of these reasons. The longer you keep his loved ones out of that room. But ultimately, I don't think that the chance of waking up is there. So to which I say, it's not just about what Vaughn wants. It's about his loved ones finding closure. And a good steward of the power would realize that. Now, these aren't people that he's had to like make reports about against. These aren't people who hurt him physically or in other detrimental ways. Okay, sure, they may let him down, as all parents do, maybe more than most parents or whatever. I don't know. I'm not casting any judgment on that. But I get that. But that's something different, okay, than a reason to keep them away.
Popping off on Reddit.
I thought Reddit didn't start till June 12th. So although the post was already there, I
Oh,
thought that the brother
It
didn't
was
hit
the 12th.
Reddit until the 12th.
It was the 12th, sorry.
Okay, I'm just gonna forward through this. I'm gonna to where everyone else gets involved. I don't really care about the shit before then.
You're right. I think it was late night.
She does go over that story with that. So anyways, so June 13th, the money post starts to come in. I don't think you really see anything significant. Correct me if I'm wrong. Other than every day you got an update at that point in time.
Research that law for yourself. There's a ton of information, and just look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself.
And she explaining in depth too on our last video. She does explain more of that, but I just wanted to give a brief overview. So in essence, we see a video of Dre saying, can we get security? She was caught off guard. That's very evident. And again, you can watch it. These are videos she took and posted. So we see this happen, but then we find out that Marvon Sr. was allowed to see him. But do we learn that right then and there?
No.
No, we don't.
The current narrative is no one can see him. She's restrict everyone.
So we see him being what we think is turned away from her video because she's asking to speak to security. And again, this was done in her supporters. So it's not public at the time, but it was made look unfriendly.
It was public. I don't care. You can sit here and say that she posted that to social media just to her members or whatever. It's fucking public though, because there's no expectation of privacy. Just this bullshit. That's
But it was
Snippets were made public.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Very chosen snippets. So we're left to assume that Marvon Sr. has been denied seeing Marvon at this point in time.
Yep. And we
then
do later on confirm that he was there from, what are the dates?
they left Georgia the 18th of June, according to what Wynette said, and they returned to Georgia around the 26th of June.
Okay. We all know that they were a couple of got taken care of. So we know that they spoke with the Tucson Police Department. They shared that.
Yes.
We know that a family member helped them fund their trip.
I just want to say, I didn't hear that no one was allowed to see Dre or see Marvon. I didn't hear that. What I recall hearing then was that his mother wasn't allowed. And the fact that after that video in which they're referencing, the fact that after that was put out there, the excuse or reason or whatever behind the excuse or reason explanation made about Dre's actions on that video were that she thought it was the mother, only further further presses the impression to the mother that the mother is not allowed to show up and see her son. And people want to sit here, like these guys want to sit here and say misunderstanding or misinformation or whatever. Well, it goes both ways. People can't control the information that they are presented with. They can't control. I mean, if just because Dre says it somewhere, unless she says it directly to those involved, you can't expect the person she's speaking to or about to hear it. It's just a bullshit excuse. I mean, if you want someone to know something, then you tell them what it is you want them to know. You don't just put it out there in hopes or expecting them to just stumble upon it.
Via text messages, and that family member was willing to help fund a trip for Letitia to also get there. We know that part of their savings was used up to supplement what wasn't covered for them to get there. We know that they stayed at Fisher House while they were there, which is
I just wanted to ask, like, how is this known? How's all this known? Oh, that's right, because Letitia is the one who made it known, right? So it's funny how now this information they're accepting to be truth and actual, but other shit that Letitia says they want to throw, out in the garbage. Just, what is it? She is she an honest person, or is she full of shit?
anybody know, like, I know that there's no fee to stay there, but what is it? It's exactly.
The Fisher House is like a Ronald McDonald House, but for the VA. So there's Fisher for all intensive purposes. So they found out the 12th, and they were on their way to Georgia on Father's Day, the 18th.
Okay. So with 6 days, he already gotten his permissions that he would need for his legal situation, as well as they were on the road, money collected, and they were on their way to see him.
Yeah. And absolutely,
Not expose and give the details of what the incident was on at the time. They link up another gal named Amanda Cannon. Amanda Cannon was an ex admin friend supporter who was deemed as part of the group. Her job was to go and find clips. You can see in the text messages exchange the ends of the group throughout the first, I'm going to say from the 24th to the 6th when Molly takes over. You can see there's numerous exchanges where she is saying, I'm having to watch hours and hours and hours of videos just to find these small clips for us. That is completely telling, in my opinion, but take it for what. So she links up them during that time as well. And now that they've gotten contact with Letitia, they see that Letitia has, on June 26th, posted to her personal page before anybody has actually fully talked to her or made, full on contact with her at that point. See, he posted her page a fund. It was originally started by a cousin of hers, but she is the beneficiary of that. In the post, it's still up to this day, so you can check it for yourself. But it basically says, I need help to raise funds to get a lawyer to see my son because his wife won't allow to see.
Yep.
So that narrative was then put out that the parents are being denied visitation.
And I think one thing I want to correct too, because somebody will say they're lying. Exposing Dre McRae was made the 23rd, and just Vaughn, because Dre McRae blew pretty fast and they were losing control of it very quickly. So then they built Justice for Vaughn so they could have a private and a public group. So that's why they did that. And the Justice for Vaughn group got started. So one was more they're exposing and attacking Dre, and the other one was more supposed to be support for.
That doesn't at all concern you. Like, sorry, I'm eating as I try and do all this at once. Okay, the first group exposing Dre McRae. If it blew up, they fucking quit. Why is that? Dude, I mean, I can tell you why it is, okay? Honestly. Because from what I've seen through the videos and everything that Dre herself put out, she changed, sure, which I don't fault her for that. I don't even fault her so much in the way she changed. I fault her so much for using her family to display these changes and to sell her products. That's what I fault her for. And to do so publicly, I mean, this is why people were upset. This is the issue and problem people had with Dre. This is all I ever hear about anyway. This wasn't out of jealousy or anything. This was out of like concern and just the shockingness of what people were seeing in these live streams. And also, I don't care who posted a plea for money or whatever first. I don't even care what the reasoning was first. Unless you can prove that people donated money simply and only off of Letitia's post there, it's moot. Because bottom line is, as this became more and more public or known, it was stated over and over again all the reasons for why they were raising money, and the lawyer was just one of the reasons. So unless you can prove that everyone who donated was only because of this post here of Letitia's, which, judging by the amount of engagement that her post received, I'm guessing you can, it's moot. People donated because of the whole situation, because of all kinds of things. And sure, some donated because of an attorney, probably, and probably because she really believed she was going to need a fucking attorney. The fact that she didn't, the fact that she accomplished her goal in seeing her son without having to get an attorney, is fantastic. But people want to condemn her for this. And I wonder, why is that? Is it because what? You're upset that the money funded her trip as opposed to an attorney? Or is it upset because, or are you upset because you didn't get to see this, like, this drama, like, play out in a courtroom or something?
For Letitia and family, if I understand things. So there was a 2-day gap between the start of the two groups, but that's why. Just so everybody's clear on that. But we are back at the 24th. There was other things that were happening. So
I'm at the 26th. What else am I missing?
the
The
24th,
26th is the first time she posts her.
the 24th is a huge date because that's peace warrant. The 27th, there's another post made that brings this.
It would be a civil and not a criminal. So a civil's definitely going to show up. There's nothing violent in their past. There's nothing showing that there was any type of threats or anything back and forth. Another issue.
But again, we don't find out about that until after the fact. What we see on social media, though, is there's posts being made. July 4th, she makes a post with her Cash App, giving an update that she had $791 and some cents, I think is what it was. And then she makes another post thanking people for donating. At that point in time, the group, the Justice for Vaughn and Exposing Dre McCrae groups, had been sharing her GoFundMe and her Cash Apps. She actually posted her Cash App on July 4th on her private page. Am I missing anything else that you guys have in those dates?
No, that is when the Cash App came. I believe it's when the first total was given as well, because I think people were starting to get to see the fact that Senior had gone and visited.
Can I just say, the fact that all this time she did not have a Cash App and only the GoFundMe shows that the intention was not at all to scam anyone, because it's much harder to do that through GoFundMe than a Cash App. As I think anyone following the story has since learned, since, let's see, people with GoFundMe actually got a refund, or one person rather, my bad. And Cash App, it pretty much left it up to Letitia whether or not she wanted to refund people. So the fact that she didn't use Cash App for so long in the beginning kind of tells me that she really didn't know what she just wanted help. She just fucking wanted help. She wasn't looking to get rich or make bank or anything off of this.
And so I think that that's when, kind of around the time when questions really started, and they didn't understand like what they were looking at and what was going on. So they did start to actually post the totals that they had at that point in time.
And at this point in time, too, still in the time frame, people need to understand that this had not blown up to the extent it did. Like, it was starting to kick up and gain speed. It was being posted about on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, but it hadn't really rocketed, I guess you could say, at this point in time. So there was still a lot of things being done in the groups, posts all day long, every day. Anytime Dre would do a surprise live, a reel, anything, it would be clicked and posted. But July 4th, they do post the update. She thanks people. And in one of those posts, she actually states that she had been seeking attorneys from Georgia to Arizona, and they had been getting nowhere. Anything?
Stop. Don't you start barking. So, anyway, I forgot what I was going to say there now. Shit. Because the dog started barking. Fuck. What the hell was I going to say?
You guys want to notes? Post the update. She thanks people. And in one of those posts, she actually states that she had been seeking attorneys from Georgia to Arizona. Anytime Dre would do a supporters live, a reel, anything, it would be clipped and posted. But July 4th, they do post the update. She thanks people.
You bet your ass that shit was clipped and posted. I mean, these especially are the videos that I had mentioned before, where Dre is recording them next to Marwan's bedside as he lay there in a coma. She's taking videos of her wiping her spit all over him. I mean, this isn't like normal fucking behavior. Of course that shit was clipped and posted because people were concerned. And the only person who had access to the person they were concerned about was Dre. So, I mean, what did she expect? When you put shit publicly, You don't then get to bitch when people commentate on the shit you put public. You can bitch maybe about what they're saying or commentate back on their commentary, but you then don't get to act like you shouldn't have to have your shit talked about, because what's the point of putting it out there if you don't fucking want it talked about? I mean, if you want to be put on stage or be a spectacle for everyone to watch, then you have to accept reviews, I guess.
And in one of those posts, she actually states that she had been seeking attorneys from Georgia to Arizona and they had been getting nowhere. Anything you guys want to add to that part?
Georgia to Arizona. Now, why Georgia? Because most of the time, each state some attorneys have state to state license, but I would think you would want to seek out an attorney in Arizona because that is where he is at.
I'll read the post. She kind of does explain it.
I'm going to guess that she would have accepted either because, one, an attorney near her would have been easier to access, easier to obtain any information that she herself would have to provide as far as documents or whatever go, because they're all going to come from her state, the state of Georgia. But chances are the attorney in Georgia cannot represent or cannot practice law in the state of Arizona unless they pass the bar there, unless they're licensed to. Chances are they're probably not, but they can then enlist or hire someone who is in the state of Arizona to submit things on their behalf. So, I mean, it makes sense to get an attorney in either place, I think.
So she recognizes the difference. So she just says, I really need help to get a lawyer for visitation rights to see my son. If no one wants to contribute to GoFundMe, here's my Cash App. Everything helps. Or if you know a lawyer that practices family law that's in Tucson that's willing to take our case, please let me know. I've contacted a lot of lawyers in Tucson and the surrounding areas. I'm in Georgia, and if I have to get one here, it's really going to cost because they will have to do a lot of traveling back and forth with this case. Thank you so much for everyone who have supported thus far. It's great.
Now, hearing that just screams to me someone who has not had to really attend much court, especially throughout this COVID crisis, because she actually thought that the person would have to travel back and forth. Yeah. So that's my whole takeaway on that. And I'm thinking too, and I thought this all along, that the reason why she had such a hard time finding an attorney, because she says that she has a hard time finding one, is because no attorney ethically really could say, sure, I'll take your case and give her any kind of sense or hope of winning when she didn't really have much legal leg to stand on, I don't think. Because Dre is Marvon's next of kin. They're married. And this has nothing to do with the fact that she gave him up for adoption. Stop it, to her grandmother when he was little. It has to do with the fact that Marvon is an adult. Okay, mother, legally speaking or not, is going to have about the same rights to that person as anyone. So I think maybe attorneys kind of told her this, and she just kept searching. Stop it. She just kept searching for one that would tell her something different. I mean, what mother wouldn't in that situation? I don't fault her for that, but I think still, like it or not, that's probably the facts of the case. Because, yeah, I don't think she had much of a legal leg to stand on.
Greatly appreciated.
That's when we're first made aware that they were having some issues finding legal representation. That's kind of the first post of that, correct?
Yes, and this is when my understanding is this is when Brittany Munoz, the ex-admin, was actually helping by calling different lawyers' office. It's been said numerous times that they went through, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 lawyers, calling, trying to get somebody to pick up the case. However, nobody would until they found the first lawyer they found was Keystone, and then which is actually was through MGL, so it's later on. But then when they actually do the consult with Keystone, it's too expensive. They can't afford that. So they find another person who is willing to take it, who is a little less expensive.
And there's a lot of questions with all of that. But
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to go bring something out of the kitchen so the dog stops barking at me. Okay, so, all right. Now, maybe stuff was found out since then, but going back to then at this time, I'm reminded of some screenshots on, I forget the name of the page. It's a Facebook page, so let me pull this up. I was just looking at it, so it should still be in my like Facebook history. Yep. Okay. There we go. The ultimate deception unmasked. So let me go pull these up. All right. So I'm going to share the screen. First of all, I'm going to get that pulled up. Okay. Close that out. Is that the whole post pulled up? Damn it. Save post. Ah, don't fall. Why can't I just get the fucking post to pull up? Oh my God, it's annoying. All right, whatever. I'm going to share it now. Whatever. I don't care. So these are from August 12th. This post was made. These are screenshots of conversation between the Ultimate Deception, the page owner, and Katie Joy. So, and you see here it says July 14th. So this conversation took place on July 14th. And here we have, I love this here. She's talking about that Brittany chick. I can tell she's a pathological liar. She gave me the name of the attorney that Letitia supposedly hired. So as of July 14th, there wasn't an attorney name, allegedly the attorney's name, known by Katie Joy, and possibly even by everyone else involved. I don't know, but this is where it came from. So maybe now since then it has since been learned or whatever that this was not the case, or there wasn't actually an attorney hired until such and such date. But chances are, if this was the understanding by Katie, then chances are this was the understanding by all those involved, especially if this untrustworthy criminal Brittany person was the one facilitating things. I mean, there is a good chance she lied to Letitia about things, right? There's also a good chance she didn't. I don't know. But that doesn't matter, okay? You can learn whatever you want now after the fact. The point is what was known by those involved at the time. Hindsight is always 20/20, you know? So if Letitia believed she had an attorney at this time due to something Brittany said, then either she did have an attorney or Brittany lied to her. I don't think that that's such a far outreaching concept to grasp. And that's the whole point. People are attacking this woman, this grieving mother, trying to throw everything under the sun at her to discredit her. And then at the end of this live stream, they're going to talk about how people should be, these content creators should be more caring and concerning for the victims. You're doing a 2-hour live stream fucking tearing down a victim, like it or not. Sure, she's not the one laying in the coma, but her fucking son is.
Is July 4th.
I'm an idiot.
It's July 4th.
I wasn't sharing screen. I've had on the Facebook page this whole time. So you missed all of what was being said because I'm fucking stupid. So let's try this shit again. I was playing the stream the whole time, you know, naturally. Not much of it, just what, like 2 minutes maybe.
That you guys have in those dates.
No, that is when the Cash App came. I believe it's when the first total was given as well, because visited, and so they were looking at what was going on. So they did start to actually.
At this point in time, too, still in the time frame, people need to understand that this had not blown up. It was being, but it hadn't really done in the groups, posts all day long, every day. Anytime Dre would do a supporters live, a reel,
Georgia to Arizona. Now,
top of it, but it also had name of facility. Wasn't that July 5th?
I'm gonna go look at it right now just to confirm. But yeah, I know that it was over that 4th of July weekend for sure.
We are doing this just to double check each other. You guys do, like, this is how we make sure we are right. You know, we're not just running on things and saying, oh yeah, you said it's true, it's got to be. Because
Right.
we get stuff wrong.
Okay, and with that, I'm noticing the time here. I'm at 46 minutes into this. So I'm going to stop here and I'm going to restart because I don't want to have this all in one stream. I want to break it up into sections so people have an easier time watching it. And they can maybe, I don't know, center on the one stream that has the most important information according to them. So I'm going to stop this here, but I'm going to end it here with this one comment. I scrolled ahead in their video. Okay. And they're talking about how they're going to go check this out and check that out or whatever, pull up this post and verify or whatever. They don't show any of this information down the stream. They don't show any of these screenshots. They show nothing. Why? If you're bothering to pull it up for yourself, for your own eyes, why would you not then share the screen and show it to the eyes of the viewers? It just seems very suspect to me. It's like, okay, first we're hiding our identity. Now we're hiding their, you know, the proof or whatever. That's how it comes across. So with that being said, I'm going to end this and I'm going to start it up again. So this is part 1 ending now.